10%. That's Kris Jenner's cut of the shapewear company, the makeup empire, the tequila, the jeans, and every television deal her children have ever signed. The Kardashians look like a famous family. They're structured like a talent agency, one that can never lose its clients. And that quiet little fee built one of the most efficient money machines in entertainment. Undervalued. The business they don't teach you. Start in 2007. A leaked tape had just put Kim Kardashian in every headline in America, and most families would have called a crisis manager. Kris called a producer. She pitched Ryan Seacrest on a reality show about her family, and per the origin story, he had a staffer grab a camcorder from Best Buy and film a test at a family barbecue. Forbes reports the show sold within 48 hours. Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered on E! That October, and it ran for 20 seasons. But the show was never the business. The show was the advertisement. What it advertised is where the real money starts. Here's the deal Kris cut with her own children, in her own words. "I'm going to put my heart and soul into this. I'm going to work hard, and I'll take 10% because that'll make it worth my while." That's it. That's the whole machine. She builds the staffing, the supply chains, and the deals. She negotiates the contracts, and she invoices the family 10% of the gross. She even tried to trademark the job title, momager. The government granted it in 2017, then barred her from using it for reality TV. She kept the 10% instead. Now, if you know how Hollywood works, 10% should sound low. Union rules cap talent agents at 10%. Managers usually charge 10 to 15, sometimes 20. An entertainment attorney told Forbes her rate is just standard manager compensation. So the fee isn't the trick, the base is. A normal manager takes their cut of acting jobs and appearance fees. Kris takes hers on entire consumer goods companies. Not the paycheck for promoting the shapewear brand. 10% of the shapewear brand's gross. Same rate as everyone else, applied to a category of income no other manager in Hollywood could reach. If you like watching fee structures do the heavy lifting, you're in the right place. To see what those ventures actually are, open up Kylie Cosmetics. At its peak, it was one of the most talked about beauty companies on earth. It had almost no employees. The makeup was manufactured by an outside company, Seed Beauty. The orders shipped through a Shopify store. There was no factory, no warehouse, no lab. Kylie Cosmetics wasn't really a cosmetics company. It was an audience with a checkout page attached. And that's the family template. Take attention, wrap a brand shell around it, let someone else own the machines. Which worked beautifully, right up until someone checked the numbers. In November 2019, the beauty giant Coty paid $600 million for 51% of Kylie Cosmetics. That valued the company at $1.2 billion. Then Coty had to file real numbers. Its disclosures showed trailing revenue around $177 million, far below the roughly $360 million the family had implied to Forbes. In May 2020, Forbes stripped Kylie's billionaire title and accused the family of inflating the business, in its words, with likely forged tax documents. Kylie denied lying, but the gap on this chart is the part nobody disputes. Now watch the same template executed cleanly. Skims, Kim's shapewear company, raised money in 2021 at a $1.6 billion valuation. A year later, $3.2 billion. 2023, $4 billion. And in late 2025, Goldman Sachs led around at $5 billion. Every step of that staircase, the manager's fee rides along. And Forbes reports Kris also holds equity in the ventures themselves. Reportedly 1% of Skims, 5% of Kylie Cosmetics, 10% of Good American. She's not just clipping the ticket. She reportedly owns part of the train. And here's the structural part that should make the finance people in the audience sit up. The fee is on gross revenue, not profit. Whether a venture makes money is, contractually speaking, not her problem. She sits on both sides of every table, the mother of the client, the manager taking 10%, and, reportedly, a shareholder in the company itself. A talent agency has to fight to sign stars and fight harder to keep them. Kris Jenner's roster shares her last name. Client retention solved at birth. If seeing business models like this is why you're here, subscribe. One hidden machine a week. Add up what this machine has actually banked. Not net worth guesses. Deal receipts. Coty paid $600 million for half of Kylie's company. Coty paid another $200 million for a fifth of Kim's beauty brand. Skims last raised at a $5 billion valuation. And the television side ran 20 seasons on E before moving to a 9-figure Hulu deal. The manager's 10% touched every one of those flows. And here's the detail that proves the model. Forbes puts Kris herself around $200 million, less than her clients. That's not a failure. That's exactly what a well-run agency looks like. The house doesn't out-earn the talent. It earns on all of them, forever, at once. Now the honest counterweight. The 10% isn't a scam. Entertainment lawyers call it standard compensation, and by most accounts she earns it. The staffing, the supply chains, the deal flow all run through her. Some of the family still use a traditional agency for acting work, but the management stays in the house. The real risk in this machine is simpler. Its raw material is attention, and its numbers are only as solid as the disclosures behind them. The Kylie markdown showed exactly what happens when a valuation built on headlines meets an actual filing. Attention compounds. It also expires. So here's the real lesson. Everyone watched this family and asked how celebrities get rich. Wrong question. The answer was sitting in every contract. The Kardashians aren't the business. They're the clients. The business is the woman taking 10% of everything, at the lowest standard rate in Hollywood, on a base no one else could ever sign. If that reframe clicked for you, subscribe. One company a week, the business they don't teach you. Kris Jenner didn't build the most famous family in the world. She built the agency that builds it. Here's my question for you, and I actually want your answer in the comments. What's another family business that's secretly something else entirely? Drop it below. It might be a future episode. Next week, Amazon. The store is the bait, and the real profit machine is something most customers have never once used.